Alright, welcome to Film Addicts, and we got Psycho 3 we just viewed, and our thoughts. These are not really reviews, we just want to talk shit about it, talk shit about a film, so it's not like I would say a proper review. We just kind of we chilled, we saw the movie, and now we're going to talk about it.
So. Yeah, pretty much. There was no forethought going into this. We didn't gather our thoughts and turn on the video camera. We just thought it'd be something interesting to do, watch a movie, and then, you know how people usually talk after a movie? Well, we're just
doing it right in front of you guys. So, okay, so after Psycho 2, the big spoiler that we were talking about there was that his mother came back and he killed her. And it was someone that worked in the diner.
Right.
Right? And so this film picks up right. I think it picked up right when it.
Well, so the corpse of who apparently we thought was her mother, it looked like it decayed to the point where I feel like a year or so had passed. The eyeballs were completely gone. I personally think that a couple of years had passed, but I don't know if it actually said. It didn't say anything. Like a lot of movies will say 2 years later.
Well, because he was stuffing the birds and everything, and
right.
So then he was just having a flashback about stuffing his mom and sewing the mom up, mm-hmm. Right? And that is the real mom. You know, it was
because I'm pretty sure at the end of the movie when the reporter is making her pleas for help, don't kill me, she was saying that the person in the second movie is not your mom, it's your aunt. She was crazy. She killed your dad because she thought she was in love with your dad, Norman's dad, the aunt was in love with. She was already crazy, and she killed the dad, or Norman's dad, because I get she was crazy. She was psycho.
She wanted to be the sister.
She wanted to take her place pretty much. And after she killed the dad, she got locked up, and Norman was raised by his actual mom, who we believed to be the mom until the second movie shattered it. So it's kind of like they retconned that whole idea.
Yeah, it's just it was kind of confusing.
Yeah, and the way they threw it all in. I will say with this movie, I know it's kind of weird to kind of start with the ending more so than the beginning, but what I really liked about Psycho 2, remember if you guys watched what that kind of review is, there's a slow burn, right? And there's a lot of rapport building between the characters. This movie, I feel like it was sort of rushed but slow, which was weird to me. It's it felt slow, but it also felt rushed. And then there'd be a little bit of an uptick at certain scenes where it would be pretty quick paced, but it wasn't satisfying for me. There was a couple scenes I did like, but I don't know if I want to say it was.
The film was shorter.
It was shorter too. I remember towards the very end of the movie, I ended up asking Chili are we at the halfway point? So he checks, and we have 10 minutes left. I'm like, holy shit, I feel like there's a lot more to be said.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like after the end of the last movie, and then he turns on the hotel sign vacancy, he's been doing this shit for a while. I mean, or killing people or whatever. It seems like he has places where he puts his bodies at. He puts them because he was saying, "Oh, I had to fix the ice machine." So, what does that mean? He's kind of been using it, and business was back, as usual. Yeah, I think it was kind of slow at first because it was the nun. Mm-hmm. Leaving the nun's house or whatever, and they kicked her out, and she's trying to commit suicide, and she comes across this guy who's just going to LA, and she hitched a ride from him, and he tried to fucking have sex with her, and she said fuck no, and she left, and he ended up getting to the Bates Motel, and Norman hires him.
When you say it out loud, it just sounds ridiculous. it sounds really ridiculous. So this guy conveniently decides, oh, I'm running out of money. I need to get a job. Bates Motel, as we know, is in the middle of nowhere. he decides, oh, I'm gonna work here, and everything kind of works out conveniently.
Help wanted.
Yeah, with the help wanted side, and of course, where does the nun go? She somehow she doesn't have a place to go.
Well, she ends up at the diner.
She ends up at the diner, but they direct her to the motel, and
That's the only thing.
the fact that she didn't just run for the hills when she saw her rapist is the one basically managing the motel, because remember he got the job there. That also threw me off because she was really, I mean, I guess nuns are forgiving. She was very forgiving.
Well, she wasn't. Well, I mean, he kind of left her anyway.
Yeah, but he still was like.
He wasn't like trying to rape her.
He was like groping her and kissing on her, and she was like, no, no, no. I'm pretty sure that's like. I mean, he was forcing himself a little bit, my friend.
Well, I think he went a little. He went past the line, but it wasn't like he was choking her or anything, or
Well,
you know.
I mean, he didn't get what he wanted, and he threw her out of the car.
Then but however, it conveniently sets it up so that she ends up at the motel. Because it is out in the middle of nowhere. That's the thing. It's conveniently out in the middle of nowhere.
And also with Norman Bates, with the Psycho 1 and 2, he'll act weird and kooky and strange. He still does that in this movie, but his expressions, I feel like he goes even farther, to the point where any normal person would be freaked out. Like, he's watching her go into the motel, and she turns around and looks at him, and he's like by a post, and he's like staring at her like this, right, or like that.
Yeah, he's like socially awkward.
And he's like just like literally like stares
you know what?
at her. She just goes, okay.
Well, the thing is, because at the diner, she comes in with this suitcase.
Right.
And the suitcase has the initials of the first woman in the first film that he killed in the shower. And they kind of bring that back into his mind. They'll flash back to those scenes of the woman that's being killed in the first movie.
Yeah,
and so he's looking at her that he thinks that's her.
Well, it's not so much Norman Bates that I didn't like. I get why he does what he does, but it's more so like the other characters, I guess their reaction to the way he kind of acts is like, oh, he's a little weird, but I still don't like. It's weird. They think he's weird, but then at the same time, they either want to mess with him, right? Try to like get into his house or find dirt on him, or in the nun's case, she's attracted to him and wants to end up sleeping with him. And I don't know, it seemed kind of weird.
Well, from her point of view, I mean, that was her problem. She had problems with the flesh, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was she was saying to the priest, and to the nuns, and this and that. So yeah, she was, that's her backstory. So that's how her relationship with him is. Well, I think like they brought back the same people from the diner, which was cool, from the second film, and they tend to, they have this relationship where they're just like, well, just leave him alone, because that sheriff is always like, are they bothering you or whatever? Because, it's just he's trying to get on with his life.
Yeah, there's no big twist in Psycho 3. Unlike Psycho 1 and Psycho 2 had a great twist. I don't feel like maybe that was the whole twist, like, oh, she really wasn't your mom. I don't know, that didn't really do anything for me though.
It was so I don't like those kind of where they kind of
retcon or like backtrack.
It's sort of just like they explain it in a sense where in the last minute where it's just like, slow down, just like this is way too much. I mean, it's sort of just it's sort of like a Return of the Jedi moment. Oh, it's your twin sister, Leia, and he's your father. It's all this stuff. You know what I mean? Just like, it can't be any. It's just too much to take in. And it's just like, okay.
I do like though how the sheriff at the very end, it was kind of funny. To me, it kind of felt like, oh, shame on you, Norman. I've been defending you all these years, and you sick fuck, you've really been killing all these people. I did kind of laugh and chuckle a little bit at that, because it was one of those like, God damn it! And I was talking you up at every sheriff meeting. People do rehabilitate, but I guess I was wrong.
And the only scene of suspense was the ice chest.
Okay, no, my favorite scene. Okay. I like the part where the guy that's like a sleazeball who picks up the nun,
The musician.
the musician, right, who ends up getting the temporary job at the motel. He seems like he's really dumb, but he picked up on the fact that Norman was hiding something, and you didn't really see it coming because I thought he was too dumb to do something like this.
Yeah, that was.
They go to his house, the police, because they start to think, okay, they suspect him, they search the house. They didn't find the corpse that he always hides in his mom's room, and he's trying to figure out what the hell. And then there's a note that says that your mother's in room 12. He goes in there, and there's like a red light, and the walls are covered, and there's somebody playing a guitar, singing an eerie song, and it's the guy who is running. The employee, and he's all sweaty. He looks like he's like fucking drunk or something, and he starts trying to debate with, or not really debate, but like blackmail Norman into getting a lot of money. Because the way he sees it, if he tells the reporter, if he tells anybody, he's doing his civil duty, but he's not really benefiting off of that. He really wants to milk this thing. But of course, Norman, as we know, I mean, he can't have that happen. So a fight breaks out. Norman ends up wrapping him up, tries to go to his usual dumping grounds, and the guy's still alive. And there's a cool scene where he drives the guy's car into what is it, like a swamp, and while the car's going under, water's sinking into the car. He takes the guy's head and he just puts it under and he steps on him. He steps on him while the guy's like gasping, trying to get out. And I don't know, I thought that was a pretty cool scene, but everything else about the movie just seemed a little lackluster. It was all
when we
alright.
Saw him at the end with the wig on again.
That was cool though.
That was cool.
Because we actually got to see him, and it looked really eerie when he was coming up the stairs. Like his eyes were kind of like they were like a shine to him, like dark black shine. But in terms of the story, I think that's where Psycho 3 just didn't work for me.
Well, because it seemed like Psycho 3, the budget was really low, and from Psycho 2 and Psycho 1, Psycho 2 was, that was a major release, and it was in the nice theaters. It wasn't a straight to DVD video type of thing, which I think this one was, and so there was, the story I think was written better and everything. It's okay, but it's sort of like it's turning into some of these other kind of franchise, these kind of slasher movies where it's kind of it gets very B movie kind of,
You always remember like the first few of a franchise, like the first, the second movie, right? Sometimes like Nightmare on Elm Street, you have like Dream Warriors, right? And like there's some later sequels that are really good, but then there are other sequels that are just not gonna cut it. They're terrible.
Well,
I wouldn't say this is terrible. I'd just say this is forgettable.
Yeah, but just sort of like, I love the Friday the 13th movies, right?
Right.
But even though they're fucking so out there, it's just like, that's a good reason. That's the reason why I like it, because it just, later on, it just gets insane. You know what I mean? To the point where it's just like, well, this is fucking stupid, but it's cool. This one is like, they're still trying to make it seem like it's a really serious, good film or whatever, but it's just like, it's getting to the point where it's just getting very B movie kind of quality.
And usually we kind of go throughout the entire story, but I feel like for this review, it's hard to break down every part because it's just so. I guess wasn't not necessarily interesting enough. It just was a little chaotic in some spots. There was like what was it, like a homecoming party, or there was a bunch of things. It seemed like campy.
They seemed like that's when I said, well, it's turning into Friday the 13th. They're
right.
Like, they have to bring in some other people, because people have to die,
mm-hmm.
And so now they're turning into a slasher film. It's not just him having a psychological kind of mental illness with his mother or whatever. Now it's just like, okay, now there has to be a body count.
I think I'm ready to give my stabs already on this.
I give it 2.
I give it 2 also.
Yeah.
2 out of 5. Meaning
2 middle fingers.
Two middle fingers, pretty much to say that I watched it. I can move on with my life. I will not be recommending it. If I talk about Psycho, I'm probably not going to make a reference to Psycho 3. And
Well, we'll see what Psycho 4 has in store for us.
yeah, hopefully there's some redemption there. I mean, we remember Halloween 3. Some people might like it. I mean, to me, Halloween 4 was good. Some people don't like Halloween 4, but I feel like Halloween 4 was a redemption for 3. But
Well,
that's
3
a
they
whole
were-
other
3
conversation.
they
That
were-
was like
yeah.
a side movie. But
They were trying something.
yeah, 2 stabs. That's it for me. Until
Yeah,
next time.
There was 2. So leave a comment, like, share. Give us a comment. What do you think? Did you think Psycho 3 was decent? Was it okay? I mean, did it move the story along? Did you care about what happens to Norman, or did not? So, with that, peace.